You've faced battles most never fought, pain, struggle, adversity. But here, we use that as fuel. This is the Battle Harder podcast, where we motivate, educate, and inspire warriors of life, veterans, survivors, leaders. We share stories and strategies to turn pain into progress. Here's your host, Coach Rob. Let's lock in and battle harder.
What's up, everybody? This is Coach Rob, your host here on the Battle Harder podcast, where I hope to motivate, educate, and inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Today's guest is going to be a very interesting conversation. I've been looking forward to this conversation for some time, especially from a female perspective. She's dealt with a lot of issues and trauma in her life. I like how she says that she's a mindset disruptor. And we're definitely going to get into that today. So I'd like to welcome to the show, Zai.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Rob. Thank you for having me. I am absolutely very excited to be here. And I really want to bring as much as I can value to your audience.
That's awesome. And like I always ask my guests before we get into like the meat or the best parts of the episode, so to speak, just give us a little background of who you are and what you currently do.
Of course. I'm ZY. My name is Zoya, and I'm Success Catalyst. And you might ask me, who is Success Catalyst? There's so many names on the market. So this is the person who will open up your soul and let you see your authentic self. It's more than coaching. It's someone who will be your guide to look inside you when you are ready. After you've been through a lot of traumas, a lot of betrayals, I will be the one who will hold your hand, hold your back, and we'll discover for real who you are, and you will get that magic permission for yourself to be yourself. I know it sounds maybe a little bit cliche or super sweet, but believe me, it's really deep and hard work, because when you saying goodbye, when you actually like killing metaphorically those person that you've been before, you need to grieve, you need to cry, and you need a safe space to be yourself, to open up that wound, to open up your heart. So with me, you have that space. And I guarantee you, after you speak to me or listen to what I'm saying, you will be a different person.
I love that. And I think that's a very special and beautiful thing as far as personal development is concerned. Especially we're kind of both on the same wavelength with that. You have to overcome your trauma before you can become better. And we have to use that trauma as fuel to become successful. And as I found out in your interview, you have or had all kinds of trauma. So wherever you'd like to start in the story, if you want to talk about the country you came from, what happened, and kind of let's start getting into how you became who you are today and how you are now.
It's a really deep question. Originally, I'm Ukrainian, and I came to United States for love 5 years ago. But my love ended up being, I ended up living in my car.
Oh, wow.
In a foreign country with no money, no friends, and no one there for me. I didn't know what to do. To say that I was lost is say nothing. It's when you don't know anymore who you are, when you, like, I've been through not just betrayal, I've been through domestic violence, sexual abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, physical abuse. And it might shock some people, but I'm really grateful to that shit that happened to me, because that really difficult and really hard time point me to where I need to look at. What is inside me? Why I ended up in abusive, why I let someone treat me the way they were treating me. Why? What's going on inside me why I'm so unconfident, why my self-worth is so low, that I am falling in love, begging someone to estimate me, to love me. What the heck is wrong with me inside me? That was a big, huge wake call. And I've been really interested in personal development for maybe last like 15 years. But that was like a huge push, because I will tell you this from my own experience. I do believe when you are in the wrong place with the wrong person, wrong job you doing, wrong people around you, life will give you so many lessons until you will stop and say like, hey, what is going on? What I need to pay attention on? What is wrong going on with me that I am choosing all these people? Because we are not attracting those people, we're choosing those people based on our self-esteem, based on what we think we're worth. And answering your question, that was like a wake moment when one of the night we had his friend in our house who get drunk and who was trying to sexually insult me.
Oh, wow.
And I was screaming and yelling and asking my ex-husband to help me. He said he never heard anything. And next morning when I woke up, I said like, hey, this is what happened last night. And he's like, I don't believe you. He's my friend. I was like, your friend was already had these charges that he was sexually abusing their own kids, and he was drunk.
Oh, wow.
And you wasn't there. And he's like, okay, let me talk about what happened last night to my friend. He spoke to the guy, and I don't know what happened. I was completely blacked out. So if something happened, I'm so sorry. And his friend called me next day and said like, hey, I apologize. And that I was like, oh, it's really nice. It's really nice conversation. He apologized. But that conversation went to wrong direction. That guy started asking me to come over, sending me text. And I was like, okay, I'm coming back home. I'm showing everything, all this text, all his calls to my ex-husband. And he's saying that he called me names. He said that something is wrong with me, and he doesn't believe me. And he took off my phone, my iPad, my everything, and kicked me out of the house. And that night was the night where I decided, no, never, ever, I will let anyone treat me like a garbage. I'm done. I know who I am. I know what I'm worth. And please listen to me. This might sound really easy, and it's just like snap your fingers and you're already healed. No, I want to be clear and I want to be honest. Healing, it's an ugly, messy process. You won't wake up next morning like yesterday, last night. You say like, okay, I'm done. Tomorrow you wake up with butterflies and unicorns in your bedroom and you're just happy, singing a song together. No, it's an ugly, painful moment where you need someone to be there for you. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone next to me because, again, there was a foreign country. Everything was in his hands. And I started over from scratch, literally from scratch, living in my car. Then I was living in someone else's garage. Then I was trying to find something really cheap, renting out from Airbnb. And that was like step by step, little by little. It took me maybe a year and a half to realize that, okay, now I'm safe. Now I can breathe. Now I don't need to look back, like behind my shoulder. There was a lot of courts, a lot of hearing. I got my protective order. So you can literally just imagine how many steps I took where I am right now. But my message here is it's worth it. It's worth it because if I would stay there, I have no idea if I will be able to talk to you today.
Right. And I really like what you said about healing from trauma being a long, messy, dark, emotional process. I don't think any of my guests that really have overcome things, and I've had a lot of guests with different varieties of walks of life. But you're the first person to really, I guess, bring that honesty and say, look, healing's not easy. And For me, having PTSD, depression, anxiety, major depressive disorder, I'm not completely healed from my trauma. It took years. I lost my first marriage of 18 years due to a lot of my anger issues, emotional abuse, yelling and screaming. And, in my relationship or my marriage, it takes two. And there was a lot of non-support from my ex-wife. She would always say, I don't know how to help you, but my current wife always says, how can I help you? So support system is huge. Do you think, was there anything in your childhood or why do you think you had a worthless view of yourself? Why did you not have like a better self-worth of yourself?
I will answer your question, but I want to be clear here. You said that you still healing from your trauma. I want to everyone understand this simple but maybe scary thing, that you will never be able to heal your trauma. And what I mean by that past experience, it's already happened to you. It will be already with you through your entire life.
Definitely.
But, fat and huge but, your responsibility is to learn how to live good, happy, successful life with that past experience.
Definitely.
So here I want to be clear again. And again, like, I'm not promoting myself here, but it's what I've learned through my journey and what I saw other people, they were like trying and say like, I want to heal. I want always be positive. I want always to be happy. If you always happy and you always positive, it's not really helpful and useful for your mental health, because all their emotions, all their feelings, all the spectrum of any feelings are valid. If you are angry, if you are upset, if you're unhappy, if you're disappointed, that's okay, as long as you know how to deal with that and how to control it and how to be a partner with that feeling that you feel right now. Okay, so let's because this is really, really important. And answering your question, I've grown up in a family where love language was my mom cooked some dinner for us and she's like, what else do you want?
Oh, wow.
There's no feelings or emotions validation. There is no support. There is like no love, like any way of you thinking that this is love. There was no way. Again, like the love for my mom was like, I cooked some dinner for you, food on the table, clean after yourself and your siblings, because I was the oldest one. And my dad, my mom were more emotionally and mentally stronger or tougher than him. And he ended up drinking a lot.
Oh, wow.
So he was drinking. My mom was fighting with him. He loved us. He loved me the most. We had this little secret with him, but still, like, I cannot tell you that I had a nice childhood. And that was period of the time when I was saying I didn't have a childhood, because I grew up in really hard economical like period in the country where you need to work hard in the garden in order to have something to eat for the entire year. Wow. And me being 8 years old, my mom took me with her because my dad was drinking and my other siblings, they were like really young. She took me. We had like 3 huge gardens where you need to do all this veggies, all the fruits, everything, like everything that you can right now imagine you can go and do like your grocery and bring it back home. We will grow in that in order to have something to eat. So, and that was my childhood, like during the summer break and the spring break, in autumn, like fall autumn break, I was there with adults who were already like 30, 40 years, 6, 7, 50 years old. I was there and I was working physically as hard as they were. So, and back to the question, like, where was my self-worth? Like, I didn't even know what is that. The only thing, like, self-worth is building on what do you want, how do you feel, how I can help you. Your older ones, your main people in your life, who are your parents at the time when you were a kid, they help you to recognize your self-worth and build it up. And I didn't have it because, again, like all my childhood, I was already adult, and my mom was always saying there's nothing that I want to do. There is everything that you must do. So there was for me, no choice, no variety. Like, this is what need to be done, and doesn't matter how I feel. I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm sore. It doesn't matter. I need to go and provide for older ones. I need to be parent for my own parents. So this is how I grow up, and that is absolutely ruined my self-worth, my self-esteem, understanding who I am. Am I a woman? Am I a human being? Like, what is that? How I supposed to build the relationships? What relationships is look like? What is a happy family? All that, who is woman in the family? All the questions that I've been asking answers for my entire, like, I don't know, maybe 30 years, 35. Because that is something that, like, you're looking in this world and you see the beauty, but you see the end result. You don't know the path. And I was always like asking myself, how this woman can be so feminine, how she can be so nice and polite and like so like flowing. I was like, how? How is
Wow.
it? So that led me to like my curiosity, because when I saw something, they say jealous is really bad. I love to be jealous about someone and something, because my jealousy is, oh my God, this woman or this union, like a family union, is really beautiful. They have beautiful energy. They have beautiful dynamic there. How? And I was like, I'm jealous. I want the same. And I'm going and doing some studies, and I was like, how? What do you need in order to become this close to your partner? What do you need to become really vulnerable, excuse me, in front with your partner? What is this safe space, place to be this vulnerable and accept your partner be vulnerable as well next to you? Because it's not just about me and my needs. When we're talking about the union, it's both people are there and both are equally valuable.
I like that. And to touch on a couple of things you just said, I always tell everybody on my podcast, people I coach, exactly like you said, I know that the mental health issues are never going to go away. They're always going to be lingering. I still have bad days. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the personal development, the things, the tools, the stuff that I do, the theories of how I coach is what allows me to deal with the things that I'm going through if it is a bad day. And I always tell people you have to decide what you put your energy into, right? So if someone cuts me off, old Rob would get mad, angry, yell, scream, a little bit of road rage. New Rob, I don't care. It's not a big deal. It doesn't make me late to my appointment. It doesn't affect me in any way, providing it doesn't cause a car accident, obviously. But you have to decide where your energy is going to go. Are you going to put it into things that are going to bring you value? Is it going to bring you something in your professional life, in your relationship? Or is it just wasted energy on needless things? And I've always liked the saying, control what you can and forget about what you can't. I think that speaks volumes. And I think maybe not a similarity in how I grew up, but you grew up in this rough era where it's survive, not thrive. You have to do everything in order to just survive. And I grew up in an era where my parents, kind of the same thing. My dad never really said, I love you. He didn't show emotion. He didn't cry. If he was sick, he would go to work. If he was missing a leg, he'd go to work. Like, he just, a generation of people that had to do what they had to do because they didn't know any better. And it's this effect of from family to family to family of, I don't know how to love someone. I don't know how to be emotional support for someone. And I like what you said about the union. So for me and my wife, I always tell my wife she's the exact person. She's the female version of me, essentially. So all the traits that I have, all the things that I go through, how I feel, how I act, how I respond, her exactly the same way. And we always work as a team. Everything is always 50-50. Now, me as a leader, as a husband, as a man, I do try to do more things that I can and be responsible for protecting, providing, and presiding over her. But you have to be a team and you have to be on the same page with everything. And you have to have those difficult discussions and have to be able to have those difficult discussions so
Yes.
you can work through your problems, so you can have a loving family or a lasting relationship and benefit from how much you can give to the other person, not what you can get out of the relationship. And that's what it's about, is how much you can give. If both people are constantly trying to give to the other person, it's a very beautiful thing. So one, I guess, for a woman that may be struggling or going through some similar stuff that you went through, whether it's domestic violence or sexual abuse or the unknown, one, what would you say to them? Like, how would you speak to them in a way that maybe they would have a wake up call, or where they wouldn't feel, I always like to say victor, not victim mentality. And I kind of like what you said about how it wasn't your fault. Everything that happened to you, it wasn't your fault, but you took responsibility for the stuff that happened so you could overcome that pain, that trauma, and continue to work on yourself and build the person that you are now. So what does that look like for someone, as a, especially as a female, that may come to you and they don't know what to do or where to go?
First of all, thank you. It's a very beautiful question. It's really important to talk about this because a lot of domestic violence survivors, especially women, they are shutting down and they are not willing to speak about this because you feel like you are broken, something is wrong with you. In my case, I felt myself that I am trash of the society. There was a strong, deep feeling inside me that that pain, that grief. I was like, how on earth I deserve it? That was like a victim mentality. Like, like I was, but that's okay. Like, pause for a second here. That's okay to grieve and say, like, what the heck is going on with me? Why? That's fine for me for some period of the time. But then if you go into struggle to suffer with the purpose. What I mean by that is just like, go and analyze yourself. And we will go back to this. What I want to say to those women, it is safe to speak up. That's okay to say that you've been through something or you're going through something. Because my mistake, I was so strong. First of all, I was so afraid to speak up because I was thinking everyone will judge me. Everyone will say, like, boo, she couldn't build a family. She couldn't create something beautiful. She couldn't deal with her husband's mental problems and all these things. But when things getting really ugly, it's not your fault, first of all. And second of all, with all these traumas, again, that's this other person traumas is not your responsibility. Yes, you can be there for them, just only if they are asking you for, and if they are know what will help them. Because if someone is struggling from PTSD or some other mental things that they go on, and they're like, I don't know, do whatever you want, but like they putting the entire responsibility on you, and you need to deal with your traumas as well, because all of us are traumatized. We have a lot of different issues that we're dealing inside us, and especially women, we are carrying a lot of roles. We are women. We I'm talking about myself. I'm a woman. I'm a sister. I am a daughter. I am like mother. I am a wife. I am an employee. I'm a coach. I'm all these roles, and I need to jungle all this together. And and being a wife to someone who is taking zero responsibilities on what's going on mentally in his life, that is not my responsibility. I might love that person like to the moon and back, but please take responsibility and give me some tools how I can help you. Give me the variety of tools how to help me. And find, for those people who are afraid, find someone that you trust to talk about what's going on inside. Because if you won't be able to let it go, to speak up, unfortunately, that thing will control you for the entire life.
Yeah.
And when you speaking up, when you learning about yourself, because as long as you will start talking what happened to you and listen to every single word what you're saying, you will start getting an answers why this happened. So this logical chain might happen when you're speaking that loud, because if you boil in all that thoughts in your head by yourself, you're not talking that, you're not speaking that loud. It's just sitting there growing, like boiling and boiling in it. It's not going anywhere. So you need someone professional, someone really someone who is willing to be there for you, someone who will give you and provide safe space to be yourself, to be honest, to talk about your fears, your disappointment, your weaknesses, your fears, you already said. So this is what I will encourage every woman who've been in any kind of abuse or in any kind of trauma she met. Speak up. Find a little group. I will recommend little groups. I don't recommend like a big groups for 20, 50 people, because you won't be able to feel yourself heard. You won't be able to be fully present, because first of all, you need to listen to all those stories and need to be involved. And some stories can trigger even deeper deeper. Your trauma will open up, your wound will open up. And at that moment, like there's so many people, and mostly those groups are like they have like 3 hour session or whatever. Like it's not really, I do not recommend to go for big groups. I do recommend to go like 2, 3, max 5 people, the one that you trust those, and with someone who is like professional, who can lead you and who can show you. And please be ready to meet the ugly truth, to meet the uncomfortable truth. What I'm saying, what I mean by that uncomfortable truth is that what, how, and why I treated myself so poorly, so badly. Like what happened to me. Like you asked me a good question, what happened in the past, how I ended up in this kind of relationship, this path. That's because this, and that. And I'm not blaming my parents. You can hear people saying like, my parents never loved me, my parents never showed me any emotions. They did the best that they can. And as I am adult right now, as I'm growing up, I am taking responsibility for my own mental health. And I am doing anything in my power to become the better version of myself that I've been yesterday, a year ago, 5 years ago. And that's only my responsibility. And if we're talking about this, you mentioned something really, really beautiful and really, really important. I would like to give some comments on that as well. You said that when you grow up, your dad never said anything about like that he loves you, never showed you any kind of appreciation, affection, like he never been like a parent for you. And this is another big message, my message to this world about the men's feelings. How women can neglect, suppress, and dismiss men's feelings just because he's supposed to be stronger, tougher, because he's a man. He's supposed to be a provider. Yes, he's a provider. He's stronger. He's tougher, but he is a human being as well. He feeling the same spectrum of feelings as you are as woman. So my message here, and I really want everyone to understand me correctly. Man is stronger. Man is tougher. He's a provider. That's true. But at the same time, he's human being as well. He has his heart that is beating and having the same emotions, his soul that is suffering, going through some traumas or some misunderstanding, some disappointment. When man met some disappointment, he set up a goal and he didn't achieve that goal. He is disappointed in himself already deeply. And when he comes to his partner, and she goes, "Why are you being so pussy? Grow up, level up. What is this? Oh my God, you're too emotional. Shut the fuck up." You know, we know, all women, we know what we can say just to dismiss the man, just to ruin his confidence. And then he start doing what? Working more, doing something different, go like sit in his garage or go into the bar with his bodies and all these things. And then woman comes to me, it's like, "My marriage just ruined over the night." I was like, "Whoa, I don't believe you." She's like, "No, yesterday we were fine, and today he's just spending all his time in the garage." I was like, "Let's talk about this." And I discovered so many times that this little teeny tiny moments that is, you know, that you just like, okay, I'm gonna be silent. You know, like, okay, it's just my hobby, it's my wifey, I love her, I love him. Like, not me just, you know, talk about this. But all that, as you said correctly, all that hard, uncomfortable conversations must be in order to build really trustworthy, beautiful, the strongest connection in a family between two adults who are in love.
I love that. And so one thing that my wife always said to me, and it used to upset me, and now it doesn't, because I understand. She said, "I love you, but I love myself more." And I think as human beings, we have to love ourselves more than we love the other person, because that's how we can understand love and healing. And you brought up a very valid point. That's one of the things I'm definitely trying to break the stigma on men's mental health, and being able to be okay talking about stuff and realize that you're not broken, you're not messed up, it doesn't make you a bad person, you're not damaged goods. Everybody deals, like you said, with some sort of trauma, whether it's from childhood or work experience or relationship experience. We all have traumas that we have to face. We have to look in the mirror and we have to face that other person that we don't want to get in touch with, that darker, deeper side. And it's okay to talk about it. As a man, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional. And I would venture to go off of what you said. And if a man ever tells you while you're sitting down watching TV and you're trying to have a conversation with him and she's like, "What's wrong?" And a man says, "I'm fine," 90% of the time we're not fine. We've been taught the wrong way to stuff everything down deep inside and carry on without worrying about our feelings. And eventually what that causes is not being able to say "I love you," not being able to hug our kids or tell them you love them, or have an affectionate relationship, a deeper relationship with the people you love. And I think for both men and women, you have to decide that whatever you went through in life as a child, that you're going to break the cycle. So when I had my 3 kids, I made sure I tucked them into bed. I read them stories every night. I told them I loved them. 2 of my kids are now adults. I still tell them I love them every time I have a conversation with them. I tell them I want to spend time with them. I want to pour out all the integrity, honor, and encouragement, so they realize when I leave this earth that their dad ultimately cared and loved them, unemotionally, and did not repress any feelings. And my kids really don't have a relationship with my dad, with their grandfather, because he's just not built that way. But I'm going to make sure that if my kids are blessed enough to have children, that I'm going to be in their lives and I'm going to be there for them. And I think breaking cycles is very important. So would you like to expand on that at all?
Absolutely. As I said, it's your responsibility to be like, if you were not enjoying what you had in your childhood and you knew what caused you that much trauma, that much pain, that like when you were growing up, now we are adults and now we have all the studies, we learn all that. But when you were a kid, especially when you were a teenager, oh my God, like something that you didn't get from your parents, that was it, the end of the world. And absolutely, this is your responsibility, first of all, to learn how to love yourself first, because I'm saying the most important, the biggest, the most beautiful relationships that you need to build in this life, it's a relationship with yourself. Learn yourself and don't be afraid to be authentic, because we've been learned that we need to be the same. We want the same things. We need to have a good car, big house, 10 kids, like all these things, but maybe you don't want to have kids, and that's okay. Or maybe you're that kind of person that you don't want to have relationships with your parents anymore because it's too traumatized, and that's okay as well. So this is how you breaking up those cycles. I'm done. Yes, it might hurt my feelings. My story is that I had a break in the relationships with my parents for 2 times through my life. Now it's the most beautiful relationship between mother and daughter, father and daughter that that they can give me, because I realized I can't ask kangaroo to fly because kangaroo cannot fly. So this is their limits. This is how much they have. If they have this much, they cannot give me this much. That's it. So, and I am happy with all what they have. And now, my dad, my mom, they never told me that they love me until until one day I was like, I love you, Mom. I couldn't say that as well because I, as a kid, was hurt, but I was like, something is wrong here. You need to fix it. Like, I want to fix it. I was like, oh, and my mom, and hang up. And then I was like, Mom, I love you. And now I'm saying this with a little bit fun, but that I was like, oh, I love you. Like I was pushing myself hard. I was like, because I know this is what I need, but I was so afraid and scared that my mom said, like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't know what the kind of reaction I can have from the woman who was all the time was like, this is your food, and out of the kitchen. So that's it. I was pushing myself, first of all, and I pushed my parents. And my dad, he's a tough man. He couldn't say that he loves me, maybe up to the point where I was like, I think 35, or maybe like that age, like my early 30s.
Wow.
But now, like, it's like, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry right now. Every time he's saying that, this is so nice to hear. Like, I love it. He's like, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. You my beautiful baby girl. Like, I love you. I was like, oh my God. And every time he sent it, like, over texted to me, I always like screenshot it and save it in my folder. Because every time when I'm missing my dad, because again, like, I am living like through the ocean. I haven't seen my family for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And every time I'm missing them really badly, or something is, I'm going through something and I need my family support. I need my mommy, my daddy, because as you said, your kids are adults and you telling them that you love me. Even me being like adult woman, I still want to know that mommy is here, and my mom is already, retired. My dad is already retired. Like, they are like elder people, but still, like, I need mommy and I need daddy. And every time, like, I'm going back to that folder and like, oh, on this day, like a year ago on April, like whatever, my daddy said this nice thing to me, and it's helping me to warm up my heart, to believe that I am loved, that I am worthy, that I am good, great kid. Because again, like, I was trying to deserve love, deserve appreciation, and this is like a confirmation. This is one of the, if I can give like a little tools for those people who have limiting beliefs or low self-worth, try to find a confirmation opposite thing that you think that you're worthy something. Try to find, when we're talking about the job, for example, your boss said like, oh, the great job, make that as a note, make that as a reminder for yourself. Or when your like partner said something really nice, or your parents said something nice, make that as a note, put it somewhere down on the paper. If she or he, your dad or mom, said it like verbally, put it as a note and keep it somewhere, like in a jar, like any place. And every time you need some help and support, and you believe in yourself, you believe in tomorrow, just go back to there, and it will be something. You will be surprised how powerful it will be in order to get what you need, like this little support. Because There's some reactions when people upset or think that they are not worthy or they lost something or someone, they just shutting down. They go in their room, like sitting back in the corner on their bed, watching the TV, but they need to be loved. They need to be understood. And sometimes you don't have desire, like you so I don't know how to describe it. You just like, I'm done with this world. But still, at this time, you need some support. And you can give it to yourself. If you're not ready to go and ask your beloved one, your partner, your sibling, your kids, whoever you want to ask for the support, right now you're not ready, provide it to yourself. This is where your best, biggest, the most important relationships coming in, really important. When you build the relationships and you have everything that you can help yourself in a moment. Because sometimes those moments you just like, I don't want to talk to anyone, anything, like you just want to shut down. Because this is my first reaction. Most of the times when something happened, I was like, I'm shut down, stepping back, I need to process it. But if I will stuck in something like whining, complaining, and victim mentality by thinking like, oh my God, how they could do that, how he or she could say that, or like all this, it won't lead me to anything great. It will lead me to burnout, procrastination, and depression. And I don't want to go there. I want to support myself. I want to help myself. I want to be useful to other people. I want to be grateful because look at this path that I've been through. Like, I want to be grateful, but at this moment, I don't feel. But I have this a secret tool that no one needs to know about this. You don't need to tell to everyone that you have this little secret in your pocket, but you have it between you. Because again, these relationships, you have some things between you and your wife that no one else knows. You have some rituals, you know how to support each other, you have this little secrets that even your kids don't know about this.
Right.
Same here. This is going to be your secret in relationships between you, in your soul, in your heart.
And I think that somewhat also speaks a testament to the power of journaling or writing down what you want into existence to speak that into the universe or whatever. Because I talked about this on another episode where I recently did an episode where my wife had found a letter that I wrote. I typed it up and I printed it out in 2017. And I don't know where this letter went. I don't know why at the time I wrote this letter, and she handed it to me, and I'm rereading the letter, and it just spoke volumes of my progression and who I became and who I am. And it said things like, salvage your relationship with your daughter. When I got divorced from my first marriage, I didn't have a very good relationship with my daughter after that. She blamed me for a lot of things. It said stuff like, don't be angry towards at the time she was my girlfriend, but now my wife, don't be angry towards your girlfriend. It was just a laundry list of things that I needed to work on personally to be better and not self-sabotage my new relationship and rebuild relationships with kids. So to come back to that and see how far I progressed was a beautiful thing. And I think that's the same thing along the lines with your texts. You said you need support. You can always go back to that anytime and then be reassured that your parents do love you and they are trying to be better and they are trying to change. Before we close out the episode and I get into my final question, let's talk a little bit about your theory. What would you do if failure was off the table? Your question that you like to ask people. Let's discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, this is really powerful when I'm asking, what would you do if you knew that there's no chance on earth that you will fail? And mostly when people answer this question, is there where their true value are. So someone would say, I would text this guy or this lady or this woman and ask for a date, but why are you not doing? Because I'm married. So the value is that he or she is not how
happy in their relationship.
relationship, but they are staying there just because of the society, of some financial things or
It's
whatever.
convenient.
Right, this is comfortable. Or someone might say, I would start my own business, which is saying that he or she is not really happy with her job, his job. They are really close to burnout, or they are already burned out and running on empty. And this is like alarm that people need to pay attention on, because if you will run on empty as long as you can, you will end it up in that deep, excuse me for my language, ass that you will be really, really unwilling to get out, because that would be really painful. And you don't want to go there. You are here on this earth to live your beautiful life, to enjoy this life, to love, to be loved, to feel loved every single day. I'm not talking the entire day, you know. I'm not talking if there's butterflies and there's people who's like, I'm always loved. No. But at least once, twice a day, during the day, you need to feel loved, appreciate and appreciated, valued and give some value.
I love that. And that's funny that you mentioned about the relationships and the kind of what ifs, because when I was married for 18 years to my first wife, and I was miserable. Well, we were miserable, and we would talk about divorce all the time. We would argue, fight, scream. And because of not wanting to be uncomfortable, I said, okay, well, I'm going to stay in this marriage for the kids, and I'm going to stay in this marriage because I don't want to go through a divorce. I told myself, well, I don't want to go through a divorce. I've seen people that are divorced. I don't want to go through that hell. And guess what happening? I ended up going through a divorce and went through that hell anyway. So it didn't matter if I stayed in the marriage for 5 years or the 18 years of my time that I gave to this woman that's now my ex-wife.
Yeah.
And so staying in a relationship or a job or whatever because it's convenient, I always tell people you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's where the growth happens. That's where the progress happens. That's where we get better. So you brought up a valid key point in everything. You're going to go through hell anyway. So why wait? You know, why not just go into it and take that leap of faith and know that at the end of the day, we're very resilient, we're very strong, and we can overcome anything, literally anything, providing we have a limitless belief system and not a limiting belief system. So I always ask everybody on my show before I end the show, what is your definition of turning pain into progress?
My definition, my personal story is that pain into the progress. It's when you discover your authentic self and you are not afraid to be uncomfortable for other people. You are confident to be yourself. You are confident not to be comfortable to others people. You are confident. Stop outsourcing self-worth.
So Zoya, before we end the show, where can people connect and find you at?
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me. It was a wonderful, beautiful, deep conversation. I really appreciate it. There are multiple ways. You can follow me on Instagram. It's ZY Elite Woman. Same ZY Elite Woman YouTube channel. It's where I'm sharing a lot of different stories from my life and sharing the tools that help me. And also zyelitewoman.com. It's where you can book a session with me. You can find my freebies, and you can find some other things that will help you.
Awesome. And for everybody, as I always say, we'll link all that in the show notes, especially on the YouTube. Listen to this wherever podcasts are available, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Zoya, I really enjoyed this conversation. I look forward to releasing this episode. Thank you for joining me on the Battle Harder podcast. And I always like to tell everyone, don't forget to turn your pain into progress and always be fit for battle. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've just heard another battle-tested conversation. Now it's time to take action. If this episode lit a fire in you, subscribe on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or YouTube. so you never miss a moment that could change your life. Want to go deeper? Connect with Coach Rob at BattleFittedBrain.com for coaching, gear, and tools to help you turn your pain into progress. Remember, life will test you, but you're built to battle harder. Until next time, stay locked in, stay ready, and keep showing up.